Aaron's not coming.
Sick.
I call the meeting to order at 6 o'clock. You all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing, please. Will you bow your heads? Karen's son has passed away this past weekend, and just a moment of silence. Thank you. Before I get started, I want to make sure that everybody knows probably by now that Stan Netto has left the Water District, and by doing that, is no longer on the Budget Committee. We didn't really agree on much, but he always offered a different view of something, and that's something I respected. You know, he gave the Budget Committee another view to look at, another side to look at, and he's going to be missed on this board. I wish him well. Okay. First order of business, as soon as I get organized, is the appointment of new member to the vacant one-year board position. We have two members here, Larry Brown and Andy Rawson. Both of them are very well qualified, but there's something, Andy, I gotta bring it out to the public.
Sure.
Okay, I'm gonna pass this around. It's just because if it comes out, and there's nothing serious, it's just something that we have to look at. Pass it. Oh, you got two, okay. Anybody else? Okay. Andy, you work for the Water District, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm the treasurer on the Water District.
Okay. I had to get a legal opinion on this, and according to this from the New Hampshire Municipal Association, you can go as a large member. You don't want to come on as a Water District Commissioner, or a representative, rather?
Yeah. Well, actually, it would have to, I actually got a legal opinion too, and where the Water District is its own separate entity,
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the town. You know, that's number one. And number two, I'm not in charge of any budgets for the Water District. So I'm just, you know, the treasurer to make sure the money, you know, is balances, and so actually it would have to be a commissioner to sit on for the Water District.
Okay, to me, if you got a commissioner and he can't make it one night, he can send someone else in his place just to cover. I made a big mistake here. I need to get a roll call here. I'm sorry.
Sharon? Sherry Gazer, recording secretary. Peg Hurd.
Mark Courier.
Thomas McDougall.
Bob Carrier.
Tammy Smith.
David Carpus.
We have a quorum. My apology. Actually, I had it right on the top here. But what we got here, Andy, it says you can if you want. But then they throw on the other hand, it could be a possible conflict of interest. I personally can't see it because somebody's going to end up giving the budget. And if you have a Water District here and you should come on board, one would have to abstain. And because somebody's going to have to give it, and whoever was the commissioner would always present the budget. Our only job on that is to recommend or not recommend. So we have no power on that. But I just want to make it clear to the committee, if they have no problem with it, I don't see it. The only thing is, you're the treasurer, correct?
Yeah.
Okay,
treasurer on the
but
Water
you would not be given it. So if you sat here, somebody else would be, if the Water District would go out and sit out there and give the budget, somebody's going to have to present it, and it could be him. I would probably be asking you to abstain, just so nobody thinks that it was loaded, okay?
Right. No, I have no problem with that,
Okay.
but, you know, where the water district is its own entity, it
Yeah.
has zero to do with the town. You know, that's the reason why, you know.
I just needed to bring it up, Andy, so if somebody questions on the outside,
Yeah,
we've already
no,
looked at it,
I totally understand.
and I have no problem with it, so. Both these gentlemen have experience. Mr. Brown's been on the budget committee a lot longer than I have, and Andy's been a selectman. He's also been a representative of the budget committee, and you've seen his letter, if everybody read it. Now, does anybody have any questions for him, for either one, any candidate? And if not, then we're going to vote. What I'll do, this will be, this is kind of sticky paper. Okay, just two. Should be seven pieces. Oh, you all set? There you go. Okay. Just fold it up and then pass it down when you're ready.
So 40 miles of the sticker was on the outside, not
Yeah,
the inside.
okay. Two. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Sorry about that, Bob.
That's all right, it's by me. That's 3, 4. I'll know better the next time.
Don't use sticky notes.
Okay, I just gotta make sure I get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Why am I only got
Oh,
6?
there are only 6,
There's 6 of us.
There is only
Oh.
6 of us.
I forgot, Aaron's not here.
and I can't vote.
Yeah. Okay. Larry Brown is the new,
Very good.
and it's not a unanimous, this was a,
Thank you. I appreciate all your good
yeah.
work.
It's 4-2, Andy.
Yeah,
It was
no,
good.
no. I just, you know, just want to give back to the town,
Yeah.
so continue my, you know, good deeds, so.
Absolutely.
But I appreciate, you know, everybody's.
I thank you for coming in and showing some interest.
Karen Brown. Have a good night.
Thank you,
too.
Andy. Good night.
Good night.
Larry, you can come forward.
I don't think there's anyone to swear.
Yeah, there's no one here to swear you in. What we're gonna do, you can still sit up here, but you won't be able to vote.
I will be.
So, yeah, I guess technically you can still voice opinions. You
He
just-
can still do everything, but he can't vote.
He
That's
just-
the only
yeah.
thing he can't do.
Not my archaeological floor.
Your minutes are here. Okay. Now, nominations for vice chair. I open the nominations.
Before you start, that topic of conversation we had, that we
That's
need
not
to
in
actually
here.
have.
We're gonna pick it up somewhere else, okay? We're gonna follow the agenda. And we won't let it go.
We have to follow our bylines, take precedent over any agenda. Am I correct or not?
Bylines, bylaws.
Bylaws. If our
I,
bylaws say something, those actually take precedence over what an agenda says.
But we've not approved the bylaws.
we are on the
We've
current
actually,
one.
but we've approved individual changes to them, and those take,
We did not vote on the
Impact.
whole thing. We did not
No.
vote on the whole, we did not vote on all of
well,
them.
that's what I don't know. That's what I was,
Well, I'm telling you, we didn't. We were taking it piece by piece, and we didn't
Right.
quite finish it. We tabled the whole thing,
Right.
and with the bylaws are coming up.
so none of our changes are applicable
No,
until
we-
they're all
we are-
applicable.
We are still on the old one.
Okay, that's all then
Okay.
we're done. That was what I needed to confirm. Get everybody's opinion that was the case.
I'd like to follow the agenda. Okay, the nominations are open for vice chair.
I'd like to nominate Tom McDougal as vice chair.
I second that.
Okay, there's a second, there's a, There's a,
We love you, Tom.
oops, please, let me finish here. There's a motion to have, for Tom McDougal to be the vice chair, seconded by Mark. Do you accept nomination?
I'll accept nomination.
You accept nomination, okay. Is there any other nominations? Seeing none, I'm closing the nominations. Tom McDougal, you are now the vice chair.
Congratulations, Tom.
We need to vote on that.
Oh, that's right, never mind.
We gotta vote.
Yeah.
Aye.
I,
Okay, it's unanimous.
The semi-public member has his compliments.
That's all right. I'm bound to mess the thing
Yeah.
up too.
No.
Okay, the next one item is the approval of minutes, September 18th. Is there a motion to accept them?
I will make a motion to accept them.
Okay,
However-
motion.
Ooh, all right.
Okay, there was a motion, and we'll get to that after. The
Yep.
motion,
Second for discussion.
okay. Motion was made by Peg, second by Mark. Any corrections to be done or any Did everybody have a chance to read them?
No,
no, because we just got them,
You just got them tonight?
yeah, they were handed out this,
Just
No,
now?
they were posted.
well, they were posted, but,
Yeah, I read through
yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Read them online.
Did you want to table these then? Can you take a just,
no, I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm fine with them too. I did read them online.
I read them too. I didn't see anything that was jumping out at me.
okay. So I need a motion to approve with corrections if any. I think I should have made that the first motion instead of having two motions going on. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, unanimous. September 18th minutes are approved. Now the town financial report. Did anybody see anything? And while I think of it, be careful of the papers so long as you don't make a lot of noise on that. Did anybody see anything that stands out?
I gave you a quick review and nothing jumped out, but it was a very quick review of work. So.
Okay. Take time.
No. Yes.
Anybody see anything at all, or?
Government buildings, there, it looks like they had, it's line 4194, page 5, sorry, page 5. So it's 4194, 395. It's like it was a $1 line and they had an expense of $165, so that's thrown into a negative.
Okay. That was that professional services?
Yes, professional
Okay.
services.
I can probably mark that down and ask Erin what that was. I'll make a mark. Anything else? Most of these budgets are not far off. They're pretty much right where they should be, and some are even a little lower. That's the only thing that I saw that, there is one that I really should look at, is that the, where is it now? Legal services. We are at 95%, and it's gonna be darn close if we can stay under that budget. But I think some of this may be tied to Mighty Joe. Other than that, I really haven't seen anything You can talk, Larry, if you want. I mean,
Oh.
you just can't vote, that's all.
The, the number of hearings that Walter came to were at least 4, and that should be a singular impact for this year. It is possible that if Mighty Joe still contests things, that his retainer in 2019 may also be on the rise.
Okay. All right. Yes, Peg?
I have one. On page 8, the planning board postage, 4241, 625. Budgeted $200 and is a $479 charge. So it's 239% over.
That, I'm not sure. You're on the planning
But-
board.
The, again, for...
Oh, that's right, you're in the
Mighty
planning board.
Joe.
Thank you.
For Mighty Joe,
Yeah.
we have the cost of the public notices, which are put in and paid for by the planning board, reimbursed not to the planning board, but to the general fund. And when the world achieves perfection, there's going to be a line for money into departments reimbursed to the general fund when the world reaches perfection.
Wait a minute, would it be that way, or would this be taken out of yours and put to the general fund?
The money will be, a check for $400 goes out for recording or for fosters.
Okay,
The applicant repays the planning board for those filing fees for the fosters. That check is payable to the town of Milton and goes to the general fund.
Okay, do you get it, Peg?
Um,
no,
I'm-
because I still want to know why it's not being transferred to the budget, to the planning board. That's all right.
It can't be.
Can't be.
Oh, can't, okay.
No.
Because it still is under your, all right, you spent it, never
Yeah,
mind.
see,
Okay.
you gotta
Thank
account
you.
for that. Has anybody got anything else?
Just, I'm assuming the zoning board overages were also probably due to Mighty Joe. The public notices and the postage on the ZBA was also high
Yeah,
compared to the plan.
and it's still the same thing, they're gonna reimburse,
Yep.
am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, reimburse like the same thing. The people will have to reimburse them, but it still has to show up here.
Okay.
Page 13, recreation,
Thank you.
miscellaneous. Budgeted $1. Spent
Okay.
12, 24, 45.
Yeah, that's a good catch. I'm gonna make note of that and see if I can not get an answer for that. That's an awful lot of money for a $1 line. I hope to have an answer by the time we meet again.
There's a couple of overages on the library. I'm assuming Larry, you might know what that is too. Just a guess. If anybody would hear.
Give me a line, or what, it was for.
Mileage, miscellaneous, and equipment, I think. What's
That the librarian is the only employee that the library trustees have. The last conference that she went to was one which would have been in conflict with the use of the town vehicle by regular town employees.
So that's a reimbursement instead of being able to use
reimbursement to
the.
that.
Okay, just make sure, what line we talking here?
That one is 840 library
Okay, just so long as the secretary knows what it is. It's line,
Yep,
library
You got it?
mileage travel.
yeah, 4520-890.
Yeah.
No, this one he's talking about is 840.
840,
Oh, this is mileage,
That,
mileage and travel.
while the mileage is over.
Oh, okay.
You got it,
840, got it.
Sherry? I mean, you know what, you already put something in there, so the writing?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
continue on.
The librarian, for the month of September, we had a 3D printer available for use. Some kids from the school district came in, and one of them was able to reprogram the instructions for the 3D printer and make what he wanted in the time the library was open. Betsy went personally to pick that 3D printer up in Belmont. So that's
Oh, wow.
another
Okay.
reimbursement expense.
Okay, we're still on mileage and travel, correct?
Mhm.
All right. Which one's next, Dave?
The miscellaneous was a $1 budget, but 94 spent.
What line?
890.
So you want me, I can check on that if you like, to see what it was?
Yeah, the other one that's over isn't as much as that one, which was a $1 item, but they spent 94. So I was just curious what
Do you want to
what was
get an answer on that,
unexpected.
or-
Yeah,
All right.
what was the unexpected
Sure.
expense?
$94.
Yep. There's one more to equipment purchase. That was
I thought
over,
we just talked about that.
you did?
I thought we did. Did we?
No,
No,
Oh,
we didn't.
Okay, I thought you brought it up.
Okay, Larry, you don't know anything about that one?
No.
Okay.
741.
Anything else?
The opposite direction, warrant articles. Fire department didn't buy their portable radios.
Which page, Dave?
Page 14, warrant articles, and line 961.
Okay. You got that, Sherry? Okay. Yeah, I noticed that, and this is something I'm gonna have to find out about, because I was looking at Article 9, it does not fit. So I don't know what they did here, because
Yeah.
I looked at last year's Article 9, that's not listed in there. It's another one in there, so I'm gonna have to get another one. There is another one in here as well. And right here, Cemetery Capital Reserve, another one with Article number 9, but I looked for it. There's something else that is in Article 9, and this has got some money spent out of it. So I need to know where this is coming from then.
Mr. Chairman. And relative to that discussion, it looks like the portable radios to not line 961, they have no budget for that, but yet they spent $30,000. I think I remember a discussion about that, but I don't remember, and it just seems strange to have that come in the warrant article section. And relative to that, to where things are at, it seems strange to have our unanticipated expenses just above that under debt service interest. That's 4721-899. There's unanticipated expenses. I think that'd be its own line, if nothing else. It's
That-
underneath the interest. That seems.
Yeah, but see, that's the only line we can touch, and it should not be there. And
Well,
I'm
yeah.
gonna ask for it to be separated, because you look at debt service,
Yeah, that.
and you think you can't touch that line. That's not an untouchable line.
Yeah, that's why it just seems strange to have that under the debt service.
I'm gonna make a note of that, so I can see if I can get that as a separate line, because it does not belong there.
Which ties into my question. The unanticipated expenses, I don't know why it would be in there, other than the fact that that would require us to, if we went with the no means no, we would have to zero out the whole debt interest, and we can't do that. But if that got moved to a new line, we theoretically could say, nope, you don't get any unexpected expenses.
As it is now, you can actually touch that. It's not an untouchable line. There's no debt tied to this. This is why I cannot understand why it's still here.
Well, no, I mean, yes, we can touch it.
Yes.
But it's like we can't, from my understanding, and I could be incorrect, the top level lines are the only ones that are actually matter. It's like we can talk about individual line items, but when it comes down to it,
Yeah.
that 107, 797 budget for total debt services, that's the line, that's the dollar amount, and we would have, in order to say, no, you can't spend any money on a particular, on that at all, we could zero that, but we can't zero individual items. They can always move money around within that.
Or, okay, I guess I kind of don't understand you. What do you mean? You're talking about taking that out, all the way out, on its own?
Prime example, this was the example they specifically gave in, if I recall correctly, is, not that we would ever do this, but let's say we could zero out recreation. If we were to zero out recreation and say the budget committee doesn't want any money spent on recreation, the town selectmen couldn't spend money on recreation because that's a bottom line, that's one of the bottom line line items that is reported in that fashion. If we zeroed out one of the items within it, they could still move money around within it as long as they had money anywhere in recreation. And even if we said, okay, you can't spend any money on printing, they could still move money from someplace else in rec to printing.
No. Once you take that line out, that's it. You can't just go and decide you're going to print something here. This is why each line has their own budgets. Larry?
I think what you may be getting at is what I think I remember as the function of the department and the line items under it. Once you have a function, you can add any number of numbers under it. And for example, on outside appropriations, we zeroed out $250 paid to the Red Cross, and we zeroed out $250 paid to the Greater Wakefield Resource Center. Neither one of those was any longer able to have any money spent on it. As terms of outside appropriations, it's good theory.
Yeah, but see, you just don't, you got to have a line in there. Otherwise, if you don't have a print line and you're going to print something, the first place it's going to go is in miscellaneous because you don't have a line in there. Miscellaneous is there because if there's something that does not fit the criteria of that line number, that's where it usually goes. I
Yeah,
really don't like it because you don't know what's in it unless you start inquiring. But if you take out, we can't take out all these lines, and that means she can't print.
yeah. But and to your point, I agree with you. I'm not a fan of the
Miscellaneous.
unanticipated
Oh, that.
expenses,
Contingency.
especially from that dollar amount, because that is exactly what a question that got raised in multiple meetings
Yes.
here that I did get an answer to that I should have printed out. And I don't recall exactly who kept asking this. It might have been Stan, but the well. It's like, where did the money for the well come
We're
from?
going to come to that.
But that came out of that line item.
You know that for sure?
I know that for sure. I have the email from the town administrator and from Aaron, and that was a $5,800 amount that came out of the unanticipated expenses in December of 2017.
Okay, if you looked at the meeting minutes, there's a different number on there. That was December 13th, it came out different. Well, I don't know why the 5,000 came out, but this was a quote anyway.
Yeah.
And what it
We
is,
can come back to that as a topic after the rest of this. But I have no other inputs on
Okay.
the town.
I will ask to have that taken out because there's no debt timeline and it's misleading. It used to be the old contingency and bonding, and they changed it to something else. They changed it actually to unanticipated expenses. Anybody else got anything in here? Okay. Moving on to school.
I did hand out my writing in red. So from last month, there were 21 questions. What I did looking at this month's report was just go back if I had any questions and narrowed it down to 3 on page 6, line 5. Oops. All right, what happened to it? Three, 3630. It is not page 6. It was middle school special ed tuition. Oh, it's page 3. Sorry, page 3. And you know what? What did I do here? Would somebody please help me? Because these are not the right numbers. Because special ed is 5214. Oh. All right, you know what? Let's try page 5. Middle school special education tuition, non-public. Unanticipated, we currently have 2 students going to Seacoast Learning Collaborative. So that was page 5, not page 6.
4th from the bottom,
Yep.
page 5.
And then on page, a new one on page 11. Under improvement of instruction, line 2210, elementary tuition. We have more teachers at the elementary level taking advantage of the CBA tuition reimbursement. And page 21. Um, 2820-54300, 1 and 2. We needed to update to Windows 10. My question was, did we need to do that for the new computers that came from the SIG grant?
Yeah.
And it was the entire district had to be updated to 10, so it could not come out of the grant, so we have to pay for it. And that really was it. There were only 3 different changes from the prior month. We are still doing okay. Last page. We still have 30% of our money to spend. So everything that we know about has been encumbered.
Okay.
However, our schedule for budgeting, or for getting our reports to you by November 1st, we're meeting tomorrow night. We are going to have another meeting probably. I don't know how many of you have heard anything about the default budget changes.
I didn't give them the copy. I did get one that I was looking at it.
Okay.
That's a concern.
Very big concern. So we need to really go back. So I'm just saying we may not be ready by the 1st, but we are still going to be shooting for it. So we'll see what happens tomorrow night.
If I miss that date, well, we'll get into it. We're going to get into the calendar after a while, but we need to get this ahead of time, because there's an awful lot to learn on that, because there's a lot of changes. And I did see that default that Doug gave me. That's got a lot of concerns for me in it, and I'm going to see that the committee gets a copy of this so they can look at it.
Yeah.
Okay, because I should have done
Doug went
it.
to 2 separate workshops. The first one they didn't even finish, and they had to schedule the second workshop to continue the discussion because there were so many changes to it. And it's pretty scary.
Well, When will you know? So because if I have to cancel out the first, I'll have to make a move. So I'll get to that, we'll get to that point
Okay,
first. Because
all
that
right.
way we can talk about the whole schedule.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah, the other thing, I know last time people asked about enrollment. So the elementary school has 274 students, the middle school 118, high school has 160, and we have 58 homeschooled students. Some of whom, by the way, have started coming back to school, which is a good thing. So and I personally know of 5 that have come back to the public schools. So we're doing something right. Special ed enrollment. We currently have 7 students who are identified as special ed with an IEP in preschool, 46 at the elementary, 52 at Newt. We have 1 student at Dover High School, 2 at Maplestone, 3 at Seacoast Learning Collaborative, and 1 at John Powers. So we have a grand total of 114 students with IEPs. So you take that out of, well, we can't do the 610, about 550.
Yep.
It's an awful lot of kids with IEPs, so. Not much we can do about that.
No.
They come in and we have to take care of them. So. Any other questions from anybody?
Okay, you, Larry?
Question.
Yes.
The default budget,
Yes.
changes in statute or reconsideration of how to allocate funds that you know you're going to be spending?
May I defer to Mr. Shute, who's out in the audience, who actually went to the workshop?
That's how things are funded and things you can and can't do now.
Okay, changes in statute.
Right. Yeah, I knew it was statute, but
What I'm gonna do is I got a copy of this, and I'm gonna get it to the committee. So
Okay.
scan it and then send it through. Yes, Mark?
Elementary tuition, so I'm gonna, for the collective bargaining agreement, do you have a handle as to how many more classes the teachers will be taking? Because the year just started.
I don't know at this point.
So, I mean, because you're already.
I will definitely find that out. We had several new teachers and several teachers at the elementary school who are pursuing their masters.
Mhm.
So
And with the collective bargaining, how many can they take?
8 credits at UNH prices per credit hour. And off the top of my head, I don't know what that is right now.
And then on page 3, your support staff, sped support staff.
Yes.
You're over budget.
Yes, and that was from the last time
elementary.
we've had to hire some more because of the increase in students, and if they require a one-on-one or one-on-two, then
Based on their IEPs.
yeah, we have to provide, otherwise we're out of compliance.
You probably don't have this off the top of your head, but maybe you have these numbers. Do you know what the numbers were last year in terms of how many IEP, like how much of an increase was it over last year?
No, I do not, but I will certainly.
What was the total IEPs that you said you have?
114.
114?
Yep. Number increase from last year. We had several students who either actually aged out this year. We had one who dropped out, and then one that came back. So if we can get them to a point where they can come back to a regular classroom, it's great. And it certainly is a lot cheaper to hire an extra para than it is to send them out.
Anything else?
And just so you know, the reason I asked about last year is it's like, even if you could get, like, you probably, I would hope you already do this, is like look at last year and the previous year, and you can kind of get a idea of what the curve is. So that maybe next year, if that's a regular, consistent going up over the last 4 years, we can stop it from being over budget. Because you won't have to hire, you can actually possibly have budgeted for additional. Right now you got 114. You should be able to approximate out what you might have next year
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
based on historical, what it's doing.
Okay. Yeah, no, I will find that out.
Page 9,
Yes.
down 6, high school guidance counselor. Is that right? There was no money budgeted for that?
All right, what, oh, that's page 10. What am I doing there?
Well, there's only.
All right, what's the number?
It's 57,880 amount remaining. High school guidance counselor is 51,230-3.
I do believe we have a
Did you go?
guidance counselor and it's encumbered. Why we have no budget? Good catch.
Anything else?
Not for me. I mean, the only question I had would be, which can hurt you pretty bad, is, I know it's part of the collective bargaining agreement, but if there's some way that you can get any idea as to how many teachers are going to be taking courses.
Between now and the end of the year.
By the way, I've got a 99% chance of your answer to that one, that 57,880. Look 4 lines up. 4 lines up is high guidance salary, and that's almost the exact same amount that wasn't
Oh, you're
actually
right.
spent. So there was, it was charged out of the wrong line is what it looks like.
Okay. Well, I will still check on that.
Is there anything else? Dave, you find anything else?
No.
Tammy? No. I'll give you a little more time. Is there anything else that we see? This should have been, you should be looking at that when I sent them out.
Yeah,
All right, just
I know it's hard to do it on the computer, but it's, you know, they were sent out early enough.
middle and low. Just middle and high school tuition. We still have nothing used yet, so.
Beginning of the year.
It's October already.
Dave, did you find anything else?
Yeah, one, gotta find out which line that is. Do you not have an elementary principal anymore? You have an elementary, on page 16, elementary principal support retirement. There's a budget for it, but nothing spent.
What page?
Top third of page 16. 52310-1.
Okay, in which,
Elementary principal support retirement. There's no,
all right, if you look at the last two numbers, so it would be 52310-1, and then you get 00 and 01. So I am not sure why, but it's almost like the guidance counselor, that they were
Okay.
posted in the wrong places, because if you look at the line above,
Yeah,
yep,
there's something
it's about
there.
the same, it's
Yep.
close to the same
Yep.
amount.
and you'll see the same thing with the high school support, middle support.
And what is the line item, same page 16, near the bottom, elementary principal mate agreement?
The copiers, the maintenance agreement would be for the copiers, and then the copier rental. Unfortunately, there are very few books at the elementary school, and so a lot of the curriculum is copied. So,
They're good, that's another one where if you can look at a couple of historical, the last couple of
Yeah.
years, you can probably get an idea of how much stuff is gonna get copied next year, so that doesn't get over budget like it is.
Larry?
Question. On the very few books in the elementary, because of the cost of purchase, because the currency is better using photocopying, is copyright covered? And this is just an accident of a past budget oversight?
Books are extremely expensive. They are currently, it's maybe K, I don't think they're doing K, but they're doing everyday math. So I'm sure a lot of the extra work, you don't want to get me started on everyday math, believe me, would have to be copied. I know, hopefully, we are looking at purchasing a new set of math books, but it's an extra expense, and who knows what's going to happen now.
So then the question is not by the material that is being photocopied,
Right.
is being photocopied from current thinking, or it is being a photocopy of those few books that exist from a past purchase?
It could be very well from the workbooks that they're called consumables. So you buy a workbook and the kids write in them, and then you've got to keep ordering new workbooks. So in the long run, it's actually cheaper to photocopy the pages out of a clean workbook than ordering the workbooks from the company. If that makes any sense.
which ties to his question of, I'm assuming somebody's checked on the legalities that you
Yeah.
can do that.
Yeah.
One more question, if I may?
Go ahead.
Do you segregate recycling by office paper?
I don't know, I
so
would
the-
certainly
the-
hope so.
Because the best market for paper is when you don't have contamination from the pepperoni pizza box. And the school paper, to the degree that you can do it, I don't know if you contract with the third party or you use the town dump. Transfer station, sorry.
I don't know,
But just
good questions.
whenever. Thank you.
I have a question, Dave, that you said you'd look back for a couple of years. When you get the book, you're gonna see way back, you're gonna see you're gonna see the present, the proposed budget, the current one, and 2 years beyond that.
Yeah.
So you can go right across and you get an idea of just what it is. You're gonna see that. Is there any other questions on the school board? Okay, I gotta go back into town for 1 minute. Dave, you had something about the well, okay? And you got
Yes.
more information than I do on that.
Yeah, so to be more clear, let me bring it up. That 5,580 that I quoted, that wasn't just the well. Just the well, there was a 275 for the sump cover for the pump. The forest pump charge was 3,520 and the electric 250. So 35, 370. And then an excavator, I'm sure that was probably related to the loam processing, but just the well was about 4,000. The entire Veterans Park upgrade was 5,580.
Now, that was done at cost, from what I understand, from Forest Pump. That was donated.
Well, it was done at cost. It wasn't.
Yeah,
It wasn't a pure donation. It was done. They
Well-
didn't make any profit off of it. They still sent an invoice that we paid them.
Yeah, okay. What it is, I went back to 2017 to find some of this information, but it's very poor. There was a motion made, but didn't say where the money was going. Where did the money come from, since you found out?
Yes. So the line item the only one I got was specifically the line item for the well. That the exact the 3,520. That line item came out of unanticipated expenses.
Okay. On here, the rest of it did not tell what the cost was, where it came from. And I know it didn't come out of the trustees of the trust fund, because I looked, there was no reimbursement done to it, so it couldn't have come out from there. So I don't know where the money came directly from. Maybe it came from unanticipated as well.
Yeah, that's what,
For
and
the
that's what
whole-
I.
For the whole cost.
Oh, the rest of the costs I'm not sure of, because of that 5,580, $771.25 was specifically highway crew labor. So that probably came out of highway budget line item.
I asked Pat Smith about that. Said no.
Well, and then I'm not sure how the highway crew got paid, because there specifically was $770 was highway crew.
Okay, so he would know it. I know he wouldn't lie to me, because
I know. In which case, it might not have come out of his budget, but where it went was to pay his crew.
now, I got the month of September was pretty much dedicated to that park. September 11th, 13th, and the 25th. A lot of this is not really clear. They gave a quote September 13th, but not saying where it was going, and they had to check to see if everything was legal. Then the 25th, they just said, we're gonna go ahead and do it. No motion for a new number or anything. It was not well done.
Yeah, so, and one of my biggest concerns that jumped out at me was the fact that that, like I said, I know at least the well came out of the line item for unanticipated expenses.
Okay,
And I knew the municipality aspect, but in the business world, an expense is not a capital. If it's capital, it's capital. If it's an expense, it's an expense. And by the definition of what something that is capital is, this was capital. This was an improvement to capital that the town owned. It was an improvement to land that they own that should have fallen under the capital improvement plan. That should have been the
Yeah.
money for it should have come out of process through
See,
CIP because it was
CIP
capital.
would not qualify. It's not high
I
enough.
don't know.
Yeah.
Not enough, the money.
Oh, there's a dollar, okay,
There is a
there's
dollar
a
amount that you have to
threshold.
get before you get there. Larry,
20.
20,000.
okay, because that's why it didn't come out through there. And I think pretty much the park is all said and done, because there was someone else who finished it off. I can't remember the name of them. Morrow.
Cameron finished off
Yeah, and
the,
Morrow did the rest of the irrigation. Again, they marked it as donation. So however it goes, it's been done. Well said, Dave. I just wanted to bring it back because that was something that was questioned. Some people were asking about. You got more information than I did. All I got was the meeting minutes, but the way they were done, I would never have done it that way because it's not clear at all. It's pretty much. But anyway, yes.
Just while we're talking about the well, I thought whatever the original estimate was, and I don't even remember whether that was 5,000, it actually cost 10,000. But I just know that it was almost double what the original, and I hate to even use the word quote, but was originally said the well was gonna cost.
Okay, I probably didn't go far. Well, they said it was okay. It was okay. They were going to do it. I didn't go further back into the meeting minutes. Actually, I had to go backwards to
All right.
find out where it was.
Okay, I just remember that it came in a lot higher than what was originally said it was going to cost. And then it was, where's that money coming from? What line is it? Blah, blah, blah. But I don't know what all the figures
You don't
were.
remember the date? I had to
What's
stop
today?
in 2018, go backwards till I finally saw the well come into play,
Okay,
and there was
all
just a
right.
quote. They decided to do it, but no motion at what cost or where was it going. So that's the end of that. Thanks, Dave.
yeah, the original invoice was September, which I also found slightly odd is the fact that the town was invoiced in September, but the charge didn't show up until, December, in the middle of the budget session when nobody was paying attention to the actual dollar amounts.
Yes, Larry?
There is an African proverb that says, when the elephants fight, the grass gets trampled. And that's what happened to the follow the money line in the contract between the water district and the town.
Yeah, well, okay, well done. I'm done with the town. I just wanted to go back because I missed it. I wanted to make sure everybody heard it. Okay, now we're going to school and town schedule presentation. Now you're gonna find that the town is in the towns. So you have to go back to the town and then for the school. I wanna do the school first. And that means it's right after your,
Yeah, and we are supposed to, when do we send them to you?
okay.
Oh, we were supposed to send them to you a week in advance. I have that somewhere.
I believe
here.
October 25th is what I was looking for.
Right.
And what it is, it gives us a time because there's a lot to go through it. And we can mount our questions.
Yep.
In fact, everything that should be coming here.
We do have a meeting tomorrow night. We have a regular school board meeting on the 24th, which last Wednesday we had a budget, or on the 10th, an abbreviated school board meeting on the 10th. So we're working very hard at it, and I think a lot of it is going to be what do we get done tomorrow night? And if we can schedule another meeting, maybe Monday, Tuesday, or take some of next Wednesday's scheduled school board meeting. But again, a lot of it is based on the statute changes to the default budget. So,
Okay. I anticipate that maybe the bargaining is not, the teachers' contract is not gonna be ready to, they got till the 8th of January.
yeah,
So
we're not even thinking about that. We're working on the
Okay.
actual overall budget and the default budget at this point,
Okay.
so.
Once we get that, we can worry about that later.
Right.
It's gonna come out in the warrant article anyway.
Right.
Okay, so, right now, we're scheduled to do a Thursday, first budget presentation. How soon could I find out if we're gonna be able to do it? If not, I gotta cancel this out.
We'll know tomorrow night, maybe? Yeah.
Yes, you will.
Okay,
So I can let you know on Thursday?
okay. If that would be the case, I would go from 8 to 13. I'd rather not go that Wednesday, that Thursday, that's too close. Because you got a school board meeting the day before.
On,
The 14th.
Okay, if we lose the first, we're definitely gonna go 3. So we
Right.
got the 8 and the 13, but here is only if needed, the 15th. That's much too close.
to what, the 13th?
The 13th is that one, but then if we're definitely gonna go three
Right,
meetings.
right.
But you got it here, I got it marked, only if needed, on the 15th, that's a Thursday. Or I could change the budget committee's regular meeting into a workshop. If I have to. To go from the 13th to the 15th is pretty darn close, and you got a meeting in between there.
Yep, yep. All right, so let's not worry
Okay.
about it right now. I will let you know on Thursday,
Okay?
okay?
Yep, that'd be fine. I just want to go, and this is where we start. November 1st is a Thursday. I know, Mark, there's going to be a problem. And the 8th is going to be, but we'll talk about that in a
We've
while.
already discussed that, yep. Last
And
meeting.
Tuesday's the one you're going to be doing. You'll be able to come to this one.
Mhm.
So if we can do the first, we could finish the 13th. Not everything, but we can get the basic budget through, and
Yep.
then the rest of it will be an addition. Okay?
Okay.
Does anybody else have a problem with these dates? I know Erin, I think she said she can't make the first either. But things can change. Okay, this is where it stands now, but I will tell you, it can be subject to change. Anything can happen. Okay, for the town, it's in the town section. Okay. What I did, and I should have corrected, the town will not make the October 19th deadline. The budget is very complicated, and there's a lot that they're going to go through, and I gave them an extension. Last night, I was at the board meeting. I put it to November 1st. I gave them to that date, but I pushed it back. So I need that back around November 12th. I said, that's the latest I really need it, because there is an awful lot of information to look at, and it's not going to be an easy budget. I will tell you that now. It's going to be rough. And I think we need all the time we can to go looking at it. They may send it to me sooner, but I'm giving them to the 12th because there's 3 things that they're hung up on. And
The 12th of what, I'm sorry?
what's that?
November.
Okay, November 12th. That's the way I want to, by the time I get it. I have to set a date up here so we can get it. We're going to be doing the school, but what I
I
need
know,
to
but
do.
on here, it's the original one, it was not until the 29th.
29th, yeah.
That
Well,
you
we
needed
were
the
going-
budget
We were going to start that one. I was hoping to start,
earlier.
yeah.
Oh, okay, all right.
I was hoping to start early because I want to, if I can get a week in, because if you look at December, it's pretty tough.
Yeah.
You're going to have to, we can't afford to lose anything really in there because holidays are in there.
Okay, so this November schedule then that we have is no longer viable for the town.
No longer, I thought I changed all that.
The November calendar you have here has need town budget workshop on the 29th.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
okay,
So that's actually, that's 2 weeks, almost, it's a week and a half earlier,
okay, I got the,
or 2.5 weeks earlier.
yeah. Yeah, and there's not an updated one in
okay,
our packet, so,
my apology then.
okay.
Tom, what you got here? I did the changes today. That there, I forgot to erase it. Okay, I left it there. What I did give them for till November 12th, because we're not gonna meet till the 5th. And I've given them plenty of time, because again, after last night's meeting, it was a long session, and it's not going well. But I need to have it at least a week or two before, so we can start the 5th, because there is going to be a lot of information we're going to have to look at.
Okay.
And if you saw the email that I forwarded to you, if everybody got it, that's only
The
one
one he
person.
sent today.
What time?
From-
Oh, okay,
Oh, just
all right,
before
yep,
we
yep,
came here.
Yep,
That's only one person, but it's
Yeah.
gonna be an indication of what we're gonna be looking at.
yep.
Okay, so, town, we're gonna start Wednesday the 5th, Tuesday the 11th, and Wednesday the 19th. We have a regularly scheduled meeting the 18th. Is there a problem with any of these dates? Because I know we have a regular meeting, but I can always change that to a workshop if I have to. I will send you probably an updated calendar, but what it is, when I did the October one, we were not gonna meet the town till December, and what I should have done, moved it into November,
Yep. All right, no, that's fine.
okay? Because I'm trying to get this, I'm taking notes, because this is the first year we're actually working on a calendar that's working. And I want to make sure that we get the information way ahead of time, because all the changes that I've seen, even I'm gonna have an awful lot of questions.
So I'm assuming after December 11th, that should give us, we should know, should have a ballpark of, okay, how far through the town budget are we, of whether or not we need both the 18th and the 19th to work on it.
Well, the 18th is gonna be our regular scheduled meeting.
Well, you were
Because-
mentioning we might need to turn that into a
We might have
workshop,
to.
and we'll know that by the 11th.
I think it's gonna take us 3. From what I saw,
Well, you have 3 on
But
here,
on
so
the
you're
11th,
thinking
we'll
4?
have had 3.
what's that?
By the end of the 11th, we'll have had 3 meetings to talk about the town.
We start the 5th.
At 5th,
And
then,
then with the 11th,
oh, you crossed out the 6th, I'm sorry.
Right, yeah.
yeah, I crossed
Yep.
all the
Okay,
Thursdays out.
okay, I got you, okay.
Okay?
Okay, I saw the 3rd, okay.
Yep.
Gotcha. Yep,
We
we're
got
good.
rid of it.
Yep, we're good, okay.
Okay, so I'm trying to accommodate everybody
Yeah.
here, because this is gonna be an important thing. You know you were there last night.
But what he's asking is, by the 11th, we'll know if we need to use the 18th and the
Right.
19th.
The 18th is gonna stay away from it. The 19th is what I'm gonna use, but if nobody can make the 19th, I can squeeze it here. That's why I've left it there, because that's our regular scheduled meeting. And I can see where he's going,
Yes.
but I don't intend that to use that as a budget workshop. I'm hoping to get something else in here. I got a schedule for a meeting, for the joint meeting for the selectmen and the budget committee, because we need to get a final number before the public hearing. And it looks pretty tight here. But I know it's gonna take us 3. And I can move that, if the committee does, if I don't see anything, this is just our regular meeting.
Yeah.
We can take that one out if we have to. It's not necessary, because we're gonna be meeting here with the budgets, but I only put that in there, and I put that as a safety, because I wanted to lock into the room. I don't wanna leave it open and somebody else gets it, then I'll have to find another place for it. So it's a regular meeting, but we can, if the 19th, if all this schedule is good for everybody, then that's fine. I just gotta get everybody in here. Larry?
That schedule everything. It's a lot easier to say no thank you than have to run around and say pretty please and not have the room.
Yeah, that can easily happen, and if we lose it, whoever gets there before me,
And I guess where I was going with it is, the 5th is locked in, the town's gonna be here doing a budget presentation, and we're gonna be working on it. The 11th is locked in, that's gonna be worked on. At the end of the day, at the end of the evening on the 11th, if we are not 2/3 of the way through, we know that we need both the 18th and the 19th to finish it up. We might not need much of the 19th, but it's going to take more than just one more day if we're not 2/3 of the way through the budget by the end of the 11th.
Knowing that the questions this committee's gonna be asking, we're gonna be coming back.
And that's why I'm saying we'll know at the end of the 11th to whether or not we basically need to publicly say, okay, the presentation is
Okay.
going to happen on the 18th as well as the
I guess I
19th.
gotta explain all this. There is a schedule that I've scheduled 3 separate meetings. We're gonna have department heads, 3 different schedules. They're all gonna be coming in. You got big budgets coming in. And they're gonna take some time. And I split them up, but you got little ones in there, but I'm hoping not to go beyond 9 o'clock. Last year, a couple times we did. That's a very unusual thing to do, but we have to finish. And yes, the budget committee, we won't, if I have to, we'll bypass it if it's not needed. It's just gonna be a regular scheduled meeting, but we are really gonna be tied up into the budget. But again, I have to protect that day in case I need it. Something should go wrong between the 5th and the 11th. I've got an extra day here. It's gonna take 3 because I've scheduled 3. You gotta know all the department heads. I haven't sent the schedule to the committee, but you will see I heavily loaded on the first one. A lot of small ones in there, they'll go by real quick, but there's a couple long, 2 of them, they're gonna be very big. And when you get into public works, you got public works, solid waste, and the government buildings, all 3. Now, I've done it so these department heads don't have to come one day and come back the next day. I've got them so they're grouped up in one. They're here for the night. Okay, this is the way I've had to schedule this. And once we get started, you can't do the whole schedule in 2 days, I'll tell you. Because it's got, you guys.
No, what I'm saying is the opposite of that. I'm saying we might not be able to do it in 3, and if we need, we'll know by the end of the 11th whether or not we actually need 4 days to finish it. In which case, by the end of the 11th, if we figure out we're going to need 4 days, we can say, okay, the 18th is going to be budget presentation and the 19th is going to be budget presentation. We'll know by the end of the 11th.
Okay, this is set in stone. Okay, so I can't make a change now because they already are aware of it. And if I make a change now, they're not going to be too happy because I've already sent the town administrator the schedule, and I'm going to send it to the committee, what departments we're going to be looking at. And I'm almost sure you're going to be asking an awful lot of questions because there's a lot in there that I didn't even see. And once you see the number, you'll understand. Okay, but we're covered. Okay, if you guys want to use that, we can do it. I got it scheduled as 3, and the dates are already set. I just talked to the town administrator. She was a little confused about it. I talked to her and sent her a calendar. So I can't just go and decide to pull the plug and change it again. Okay, they're all set. It shouldn't take us more than 3. But I will take the advisement to watch what 11 does and see what time it is. Okay. You people are new, so you're gonna see experience. Okay, is all set for this one? The January one is not set up yet, because although I do have the public hearing for the school and I have it for the town, but I want to take care of these dates first. So, because the presentations, they got to start and they got to be completed so we can move on. Everybody all set with this? Any questions? Okay, as soon as I get back to my agenda. Okay. The CIP, I should have some stuff on that.
Seems how we just got this tonight, Bob. I mean, I've just kind of thumbed through it and...
Okay, I was just gonna highlight the whole thing, but I sent it to every committee, but you just got, who didn't get one here? I got
Well,
one.
we all got one, but we just got it tonight, so
Okay, but I did send it to you by email.
Yeah, there's an
No.
email, I didn't.
I didn't get it.
I did.
You got that, but you didn't get other stuff that we got. I love it.
I'm gonna have to go check and see what happened then, because,
Yeah, no, I did not get it.
okay, so now I'm going to have to go back and look at it. I'll check it up and I'll send it out tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Okay, well,
Well, we can
You
look
got
at
the
it
book.
now, yeah.
yeah, you
but-
get the book.
I just have not had a chance to even
Okay.
look through it to see, make any, come up with any questions, any educated guesses?
What it is, there's some things, new things that are coming on board on it. They got 22 projects already started, and they got another 5 coming.
Okay.
Um,
All right, well, I'll take a look at it.
That's what we're going to see. This is the capital year for 2019,
Right.
and they got the 5 that they got, what they took, and the rankings that they gave it. Those are the ones that they're going to present us, and they won't be the only warrant articles. The one that did not go through is the one that I was hoping it would, is the beach ramp, boat ramp. It did not make the top list, so, but there were some others in here, and there's a new one. The sewer is now gonna put a project in place, because otherwise, if somebody developer comes in, there's no place for, and they wanna use a, well, what do I want to think, Larry? That's to give them, it's something they want to, if they want to do something, well, we got something in place.
Okay.
Impact fees.
Impact fees.
Impact fees, okay.
But if you don't have something in place,
Okay.
they can't ask for it. That's why the sewer, that won't start till 2024.
Okay,
There
well,
is
rather
one-
than, I mean, I,
Yeah.
So you're talking about the sewer utility capacity and expansion analysis study.
That's the study. That's where, once they have something in place, they can ask. If
They have to do the study before they can actually
No, so long
start
as they
adding.
got, so long as they got this in place, that they're
Yeah.
working on it, they can ask, because it's in place. It's gonna take a while, and they're hoping to get the water district on board with this. Otherwise, the developer can come here and says, we don't owe you nothing if you have nothing in place. There was one thing I did see in there that I'm a little confused with. The 3 cruisers are not gonna come out of that police detail line. I saw that, and
I thought I just saw, if I might, Mr. Chairman,
It's not-
a comment about how there were no monies going to be appropriated for that because they were coming out of the,
it's,
yeah, it says they have a note on page 5,
yes.
in, ranked, blah, 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 respect, it's important to note no tax levy is required for either of these purchases because funding comes from the police detail income.
But the police cruiser 2 is going to come out of the revolving fund. The cruisers cannot come out of that revolving fund. There's not enough, I know there's not enough money in there. If you look at your sheet, it will show you that that's going to be part of the budget, police budget. And if I could find what I want to look at is the graph. You got the, I had this all nice and set up. Okay. I don't have a page for this. This is this sheet right here.
Yep.
What you see in yellow, that's the capital year, but if you look where it says police, I think this is page 16, is it, you got a number on that?
It doesn't have a number.
No.
It's like about 5-6 pages
Okay.
in from the,
You will notice where it says police replacement of cars 3, 4, and 5, they already started in 2018, and they're continuing on, and it's not coming out of that police detail line. The replacement of car 2 shows 45,000. Now that's coming out of the police detail line. And there's one they're going to get next year. They postponed that one only because there's still mileage on it they can use.
yeah.
Okay, this was just a highlight I wanted to bring up, and I probably could do it now, but I had it all written out for everybody. But if you didn't see it, it's just for the people at home that they can see what it's going to be. And I believe I had that on page, yeah, it was page 5. And it got the ranking of it. This is what they call the priority of the board for the ensuing year, floating a sewer utility capacity expansion for 2024. That's when it's going to start. The DPW director presented evidence to the board that the road construction funding, which has remained level at $290,000 for many years, is no longer enough to keep up with maintaining deteriorating roads. He's requesting an increase of $35,000 for a total of $325,000. This total is always offset by the state highway grant in the amount of $134,000. So the tax levy total request is approximately $191,000. This was ranked third in the project. And the board again recommends that the fire pumper tanker truck funding be prioritized, as the need for quick replacement was proven by the board, to the board by the fire chief. Now, the first 2 years are going to be relatively the same, but the third year and on is going to go up much higher. And this was ranked fourth. Now, this is the one I was talking about. The board asked to replace on Police Cruiser 2 and a continuing lease for Police Cruiser 3, 4, and 5, second and ninth respectively. Now, it's important to note that the tax levy is required for, it's important to note that no tax levy is required for either of these capital purchase, because funding will come from the police detail line. That will not come out of that detail line. They can't. 3, 4, and 5, that's a 4-year lease.
What, may I ask what,
M on page
what's
5.
it, no, I'm doing that. What's the police detail line?
Something I've been trying to get is the revolving fund. It's in there.
Okay, so it's not their detail of their budget?
It's the rebuild, no. the
Okay,
rebuild-
all right, thank you.
Yeah, it's what they call the police detail line,
All right,
okay, in the revolving fund.
okay, thank
I
you.
would like to have that. Now, but the cruises, they're not gonna come out of there. They, as you can see by the chart here, the CIP chart, you see at 3, 4, and 5 that there's a budgeted for 2018, and you can see it's still going on till 2021. That one you'll see in the police department's line. Get that, Tom, here at the bottom.
Yep.
And also, they were looking at the continuing development of the useful map and data layers for the new web-based geographic information system for both residents and at home and staff to use. Now, they were presented with a 5-year level cost strategy for prioritizing, funding these layers, and that was ranked 6th. And the last one is the DPW presented evidence at the board that showed very bad conditions of the public works garage structure, including evidence of safety issues and deteriorating conditions. The board ranked the incremental put aside of funds toward the engineering of a new facility. This was ranked number 11. So these are the top ones that they're going to be we're going to be looking at. Plus the other projects that are already ongoing. The board recommends funding proposals 2 through 20, plus number 21, the roll-off truck, for a total of 20 capital project expenditures in the capital year 2019. And these had the bottom comments, but this one here is, I'm looking for the total here, and I think I've got it here. Back to the ones I just went through. See, the boat ramp did not make it. The other ones that ranked 5th is the technology upgrades, which is very important because the town servers and computers are old and at risk of cyber attacks. So that project was ranked 5th.
Where are you seeing all of them?
Oh, number 6, page 6. Oh,
Page 6,
Page 6 on the top.
QRNS.
and this will be the last year for funding for the fire department's apparatus purchase. Yeah. Maybe if I take the clip off, I can see it better. Yeah, this will be the last year for funding the fire department's purchase next year of replacement self-contained breathing apparatus gear. So
Okay.
these are pretty much the ones that they're really pushing through. This was ranked, no, it's not, it was, the board ranked at 10th, but they're going to be almost done, and then there'll be another, something else will take its place. Now, the recommended capital year tax levy total would be reduced to $802,190.72 for 2019. That's the capital year. If you look at the totals, which I don't have, which I need to see, that amount will be the grants and offsets. That's why it's 802,000. The total of that was 1 million some odd dollars. I don't have the other sheet. You got it, Tom?
The sheet.
The same thing here. The total for that, because they got offsets, right there.
Yeah, the
The total.
yeah, grant amount offsets, which is basically the highway grant, 179,000. I think that's the highway grant.
Yeah.
And other revenue offsets of 83,400 brings that. So the funding is $1,064,590.72. So after you take out the the offsets from the grants and revenue, it becomes $802,190.72.
Yeah, that's with the offsets. So this is just a general idea, and what I looked at on the boat ramp, it has 4 different projects, how that should be done. It's got schematics, it's even got pictures in here, how it should be done, but I think there'll be a warrant article coming to that. That's pretty much I wanted to do, is just bringing out the highlights. Yes?
Okay, when you mentioned the boat ramp, when it's not recommended, I know that there was some discussion about having the state take over the boat ramp.
Yes.
Is that why there is no longer a recommendation for the town?
Up above, it specifically indicated, one of the recommendations was that they thought that more of the money should be coming out of the rec department, and there was other questions related to where the money, that some of the money, that all of the money shouldn't just come out of the general, through the regular tax rate.
All right, was that in here somewhere, David?
Yes, I did see that.
Okay, all right, as I said, I did not get it, I did not read it, and so people are saying things and I'm going, ah.
Well, the recreation has a beach revolving fund.
Okay.
That's where it would come from.
Okay.
It will not be part of their budget because they need another 15,000 to complete it.
Okay.
There are 4.
Page 2, J, if you're...
Larry, go ahead.
There were questions as to the impact of a 24-hour boat ramp from the state with the limited land access of the town beach needed for that project. A discussion went back and forth on how much parking would be necessary. Discussion went back and forth on what unintended access to the town beach would be created. Discussion went back and forth as to whether or not there would be sufficient supervision for unidentified vegetable matter coming into the 3 ponds. There was discussion as to the proper nature and extent of the boat ramp itself as a town project. There was discussion back and forth as to the tracking of expenses incurred by the Recreation Department to allocate exact dollars to exact projects.
Okay. All right, now I just remembered that there was an awful lot of discussion about the bad things of having the state do the ramp, so, all right.
Well, the only other thing
I will
on
be
that-
more than happy to read through this.
Okay, the reason that it's important is that's the town beach's biggest revenue maker. And I don't have a number on how much they make, but that was the one that was concerned about.
Okay.
And Larry, same thing with him. If they lose the beach, because it does pay salaries and some upkeep of the buildings. So.
Yep.
Okay, we're all set with that? Now, the budget will be sent to the Budget Committee October 25th. We've already gone through
Yeah,
that
I will let you know
already.
Thursday.
Okay, now, is there any other business that may come before the committee? Is there anything that anybody needs to bring up? Yes?
Yes, I might, had a couple of people email me, want to know contact information, and my first, my knee-jerk reaction was, well, go to the website, our contact information's there. Yeah, go to the website. Yeah, no, I didn't. So if anybody might be willing to, put your, an email address, a phone number, something, so if somebody has a question, concern, comment, they can get a hold of us.
On the town website?
Yep. I'll put mine up.
Is it up?
Yeah.
Is it the new one?
I
No.
couldn't tell you.
Oh, it's the old one, okay.
You know, what
No, it's not the new one.
what you gotta do is, probably put
Yep.
it on, you're talking about the budget committee, we have our own.
Yeah, got our webpage, and there it's just like it looks for the selectmen. They've got selectmen, and if they have an email address, I think she put a separate email address column for me instead of a hyperlink you could click, but whatever. But anyway, I got her give my email address and phone number. If you have an email address, if you don't want people, don't want to put your phone number out there for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But just because, especially since it seems like more people are.
Paying attention to
Well, I don't want to say more people are paying attention. More people are
voicing their opinion.
Speaking up.
wanting to
Yes.
make their wishes known. I think a lot of people like to make noise, but it's. This is what my third year, I think, on the committee, or fourth year. However many it is, there have been more people this year asking, how do we get in contact? What do we do? And so having information so they can get hold of us is good.
No, I will be more than happy to put my
Well,
email on there.
And independent of that, if we don't, it's not that hard, and I can work with Bob to get it set up as like, it's feasible to set up an email address that we actually post, that if anybody sends an email, it just goes to all of us. Then they don't have our email addresses, but they can always send an email and it goes to all of us.
Go for
That's a
it.
good idea.
That way we don't
You're
have
in
to
charge,
post our
David.
individual ones. That way that email address is always valid no matter who's on the board. And we just adjust who the email gets forwarded on to
When
based
can
on
you
that.
do that?
After I figure it out, because, well, we don't
Okay.
have, well, I know how to do it, except it normally is tied to the website.
All right.
And we still have the old website. I don't know what's capable of the old website.
Okay, meanwhile, I will
And if you just
heed your
email,
recommendations, so
call
thank you.
Heather, she can take care
Oh,
of
okay.
it. That's what I did. I sent it to, hey, could you put this up there?
Okay.
Get hold of it.
Thank you.
I'm gonna be doing that as well. And I should do it, because I know you've been sending me these, and I printed
Yeah.
them out. Did everybody get this one today?
Yes, I
Points
got
to
that one
ponder?
today.
Yes.
Did you get that one?
Yes.
Oh, you didn't get it, Larry. You can have this copy.
Did you get that one today?
Yeah, I got that one too.
I think, did anybody get the one before that? I did send another one, because he sent me.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, you
Larry, you don't
forwarded
have
a
it.
couple.
Yeah, I
Oh, which is
forwarded
good.
what I got.
Okay,
So,
all right. Anything else on the, any other business? Yes, Larry?
Okay, members, non-members' comments. Short paragraph,
Did I have it in there?
which is, one, thank you. And I really appreciate the opportunity to return to the committee despite my strong math skills. And it's a pleasure to see old faces and some new faces.
Excuse me, you
And-
call my face old?
Well, it's mature.
Thank you, Larry.
But I just particularly wanted to thank Bob for stepping up. And when I came to the September meeting, I wanted to thank Sean for bringing the committee into the 21st century for technology. And he beat me out the door, so he has to listen to this, and thank you, Sean. And for Stan, I served with him on the ZBA. If you are in the rear bedroom, Stan will drag you out of the fire by your heels. He will make sure he gets there, and then he will beat you soundly about the head for leaving the heater on. Stan is fair, and I miss working with him.
Okay, that takes care of 12. It said, if you public questions, I guess you're still public because you're not sworn in yet.
Right.
Okay, now the unfinished business, the bylaws, the final review. Okay? What triggered this that I had to do is when I started taking the books apart, I found a date on one of them that said August 21st, and I went looking at it, there were no changes made to it. Then I went through another set of books the next day, because to clean them out, I found another one with no date on it, but it was taken care of. Somebody did correct them. with the changes. I took it upon myself to redo it. I took the May 15th minutes and the June 19th, and what was taken out and what was added in. That's what I put the final one together, and I left everything in the red that what was taken out that was originally done. Now, there were some changes in here that I made, and I'm looking for it. The capital expenditures on page 8 on the top, that is nothing to do with us. This is the line 1 and 2, that is the planning board's criteria. We have nothing to do with it, because the planning board will never let a project go through with these conditions. We don't have to worry about it. Number 3, you'll never see any new personnel or change from part-time to full-time will be set forth in a warrant article. You'll never see that. The selectmen have the authority to make a job part-time or full-time. So I scratched the whole line out, the whole column, the whole paragraph. I took B and I put it down. I put the B down below. I went down all the way through. Put the next letter down. On page 8 as well is a format and schedule for final request. The town default budget will be listed on the budget worksheet. They did it last year. There's enough room on there to do it. Now, the other one I did for the school default budget, it'll be a separate sheet. There'll be 2 different sheets. You'll see the proposed budget and the default budget. It'll be a different color of paper. Okay, I had an example here. I think I've got it. Yeah, you will see last year, this is the default budget, the green sheet. And then the white one will be the proposed one of last year. It has to be done this way because you never get it on one sheet. So this is the changes that I made. And that's about it. Is there any other changes that this committee wants to make?
Yes.
Yes.
On page 8, under bullet 3, in front of the blue school is blank. And I do believe that we had agreed that should be taken out. It's in parentheses.
Yeah, it was supposed to be replaced by the word school.
Right.
You put school in
Right.
but didn't scratch out the blank.
Right. So the
Okay.
blank is still in there.
All right, we take that out.
You get that?
Got it.
Okay.
I must have missed that one.
I
had to.
didn't,
I
sorry.
went back to all the mini minutes. Any other corrections?
Well, that was the only one that I found.
There were some, those you see in blue, those were what Sean asked for, and what I took out from page 4, the quorum consists of majority.
Yeah.
Scratch 6 out and put 5 members physically present.
Yes.
So that way there, if I need to have somebody who wants to get on the phone, we have 5 people here.
Where was the 5 again?
Page 4,
Page 4, third of that page.
where it says quorum.
I seem to recall somebody was discussing quorum by definition that's not 2/3 majority?
Okay, we're gonna put this
What's the
to bed.
definition?
Okay, what it is, this is our bylaws. We agreed to this, and this went through an attorney. So he's agreeable to it. We need 5 to be present here, and if somebody wants to do to the speakerphone, if we pass this, they can, so long as there's 5 physically people here.
I'm not disagreeing with the physical present. What I'm saying is the definition of quorum is 2/3 of the sitting active members. So if we put 5 in there, 2 people quit. At that point, our quorum by definition is not 5 anymore. It's 4.
Well, I know, but I
So it's just
think
the
we probably
majority.
should
It's
have
the
minimum 5.
Well, I'm not gonna
I don't
keep
know.
changing this every time that something happens. I
No.
mean, we have no choice. If these people, 2 people resigned, and
I think we had agreed to the 5.
yes.
So I think we
Yeah.
need to leave it at that at this point.
This is why it got changed from scratch to 6, from 5 to 5.
We did, but and not since when this happened, but literally since the last meeting, there was, and we can double check this, and we might have to double check it again with the lawyer, because the lawyer did based off of his ruling, but there has been a New Hampshire Supreme Court ruling indicating that a quorum is, of any group that's a municipal group, is a 2/3 majority of the sitting members, and that they have to be physically present in the same location to have a quorum. That was what there was a ruling related to the definition of quorum for any municipal group, voting group. So we
there
need
should
to,
be 9 of us, correct?
We are,
and when there's 9 of us, the 2/3 is what the quorum is. If there's 7 of us, 2/3 is the quorum. It's always
No, I
2/3
know,
of
I
whatever, however many people we have. So us putting 5 in there really, it doesn't matter if we put it in our bylaws. It's what it matters is what the state Supreme Court has said a quorum is. And that is
we
a
have 5
2/3.
people here, okay? There's a time that we may not get, but just 5 people showing up. It's happened before. What are we gonna do? Say, I'm sorry, we gotta go home? We're not gonna do that.
Basically, yeah.
If we have if we have a 9-member staff and 4 people show up, you can't have a meeting,
Of course not.
according to the state
No, you don't need, you
Supreme Court.
can't. I said you need 5. There were times we had the school board presentations, 5 members were the only ones there. One person would step up and leave, we'd have to stop. Okay, we got 9 people, we got the majority. 5 is what they call the quorum.
But what David is saying, though, is
If 2
2/3
people-
of 9 is 6.
Yeah, and
So-
if 2 people leave, our quorum is not 6 anymore, it's 5. It's always going to be based
Right, I
on
know.
how
So
many
what do we
people we
do?
have.
So do we just leave out a number and say a quorum needs to be present, physically present?
Yes.
I think a definition needs to be in there.
Well, yeah, but just a quorum, you're absolutely right, a quorum is,
It's consists
2/3.
of a majority of members physically present, a majority. Okay, we could take the 5 out, a majority. A majority of what?
I just, oh, God,
Because
this is
we-
crazy.
We can go no more than 9 members, and I can't fill the water district seat. That has to come from them. We're still
All
one
right,
member
a
short.
quorum,
I would have to get an opinion from the town administrator. She can get an answer from me.
again.
Yes, Larry?
That the discussion that we're having doesn't count if there is a Supreme Court ruling. The bylaws, no matter what they say, will not survive a challenge in the presence of a controlling statute. So, in the course of a meeting, if someone steps away from their desk, the meeting does not stop. The quorum is still present. If we need 5 members, that is, half plus 1, then that, after review by council, remains the quorum. If there is a statute that requires physical presence of 5 members or 6 before a member can participate by telephone, that statute will answer that. So we don't have to talk about it until we have that.
I'm not so sure this is statute about telephoning in, so.
Okay.
And that's what I was saying is, there is, and that was part of the ruling. The ruling came, so let me give you the background. The ruling came, and this was a case that was, involved the city of Portsmouth. There's a Coakley Land Fund group that is doing
Yeah,
something
yeah.
related to the Coakley Land Fund. It is a 3-person group. Only one of them actually is even living in the state of New Hampshire. One of them's in North Carolina. There are 3 lawyers, and they're scattered over the U.S., and only one of them's in Florida. They said that they cannot have a meeting. In order for them to have a meeting, one of them needs to fly into Portsmouth, so there's at least 2 of the 3 physically in the same location. So they specifically addressed the fact that what they were doing was the three of them just got on a phone call. They just got together on a Skype call. They were all telecommuting effectively on the call, except for one who was physically sitting in Portsmouth, but the other two weren't in there.
Okay.
And they
I
said
gotta
that
put a-
wasn't legal.
Put a stop to that. We're going off track here. We're not talking about Portsmouth. We're talking about Milton. This is always the way it's been. We've gone through this before. Back in 2014, we had 8 people. It was an important vote. One member could not be here. We called, and there was no problem with it. The selectmen were there. They've also done it before. They had a majority sitting here. They were communicating by phone, speakerphone, so everybody could hear. Okay, this is the way it should be. Now, Mark can't be here, but so long as there is 5 of us physically here, he can be accounted for in here. He can speak. He'll hear everything. We've always done it. Nobody's ever challenged it. And I don't see any reason to change it. Unless,
And I'm not disagreeing, and what you're talking about right now is the physically present. I'm not disagreeing with that, and that statute that they just did was in line with that. That's not the
Okay.
question. It's it's the fact that the quorum is defined by state statute, not by us. So putting a number in there,
okay, first of all, these were done by the committee. And they had to go through an attorney. And this is what, all we're doing is refining it a little bit. Okay, he said physically, now 5 or 6. We got to establish, there's 6 of us here. That's a quorum. But if Erin could talk from the phone, which she couldn't, because she got strep throat, yeah, and she could call, she would be in here, she would qualify. She would, and as the one I was talking about, it was a vote on the budget. We needed to have it because it was a 4-4 tie. Now, probably basically, we should never have done it. And what we did one time, she called, everybody could hear her, and she was the deciding vote on which way that was going to go. We took it, nobody complained about it because that could have been dead right there, 4-4. But the committee allowed it to happen, and it passed. Okay, I don't look at the Supreme Court or anything like this. We're just a community, and so long as we obey the laws.
and that's what I'm getting at is the fact
I guess
that
I understand where you want to go with this. Do you want to take the 6 out or the 5?
yes, that we shouldn't have the number in there because otherwise what we end up in is the trap of if we don't realize it. For example, the example I was giving earlier was weeks ago when Tammy, myself, Tom, and Aaron were all at that workshop, the 4 of us were together. At the time, there were only 6 seating members, therefore 4 was a majority, and we technically were at a meeting.
So what, you are telling me that it was illegal?
And that was 4. No, what I'm
It should
saying.
have been posted, rather.
It needs to be posted, and minutes need to be posted. Just saying, nothing related to the budget meeting was discussed, but it needs to be posted. But my point being is, at that moment in time, when we were at that conference, our quorum was 4, not 5, because we only had 6 people sitting on the seat. We only had 6 active seats, 6 people in the committee, which meant 4 people is now a majority. At that time.
But going on that, you went to a scheduled meeting for a workshop
Yeah.
for the budget committee. Okay, so there. But going on that lines for what you're saying also, if that needed to be posted, so if the 4 of you just so happened to be at the landfill at the same time to dispose of your refuse.
There's
You need to
guidelines
post it.
allowing for that,
Okay.
that
As
the
there are
agenda and the
guidelines
minutes can be
allowing-
posted post after that.
There are guidelines allowing for the 4 of you or the 5 of you or the whole committee to go to a workshop.
Yeah, it just
Without having
requires you to post after the fact, post that you had an agenda, nothing was gonna be discussed, and the minutes say nothing was discussed. It still has to be posted. There's that's what's tied to the legalities. And that's where I'm going at with the fact that if we put 5 in there and we don't, and somebody doesn't realize it, no, actually, at that moment, 4 was our quorum, not 5. Even if our bylaws say 5 is our quorum, it doesn't matter. New Hampshire law says 4 was at that moment in time, because there was only 6 members and a majority was 4.
Can I make a motion?
Why don't we just scratch that out? If that's gonna set the piece, I mean, I'm tired of listening to it. Okay, let's cut the 5 out, and never mind the 6, put physically.
Yeah, no number needs to be there, just scratch the 5 and the sentence still words correctly.
All right, so may I make a motion then, rewording?
Go ahead.
Okay, I just needed the okay. A quorum of members shall be physically present. How's that? So the number is gone, but we at least have a complete sentence now?
The only problem I might have with that is that we got 9 members. We can't go beyond 10. We can't really shrink it.
But it's
That-
just
but-
a
but-
quorum is 2/3. I totally understand. So if we have 7 members, then we need to have a quorum physically here at a meeting.
Yeah.
And then the other 2, 3
Okay.
can call in.
So long as we have enough here.
Yep.
And then they call in. Okay, now I'm getting you, because we are only now we are 8.
8, yep.
So we still have 1 missing. Okay, so for 8, we would have to have,
Still
5,
have to have.
1 more than half. We have to
Alright.
have a majority.
okay, is there a second on that motion?
I second.
Tom's,
Second with some further discussion.
okay, we're gonna go to the second. Yeah, but did you get the motion? From Peg?
Yeah, I got it.
You got it? Second by Tom?
Yep.
Okay, Tom, go ahead, discussion.
I like taking the number out. Quorum is the definition of how many people have to be present. So a quorum of the budget committee members shall be physically present, including a quorum of the budget committee shall be physically present.
I think
But the quorum also would include the
Yeah.
selectmen, water, and school
Yeah,
board.
they're members of the
They're all in
committee.
there, yes.
They're members of the committee by default. They're the
Right.
appointed,
Yeah.
but so a quorum of the budget committee members shall be present.
Yeah.
Period.
So get rid of the including?
Shall be physically present.
So you're
Yeah,
saying
yeah,
get rid of the
yeah,
including?
because they're already members.
Okay,
They're members. Yeah. Okay. You don't have to spell out the special designation
No,
of.
you don't.
They're members.
they're part of the
Yeah.
committee.
okay.
Okay, Larry, you got something?
That
So
for
a
the
quorum?
budget committee in Milton,
Oh.
the statutory composition of the budget committee is 9 members. Because we have an independent water district, municipal, and we have an independent municipality defined as the school district. Absent a water district, if the water district were rolled into the land use and sewer, then we would have a budget committee of 8. It is possible that the town might vote to reduce that to a budget committee of 7 to have an uneven number to establish a majority and not be deadlocked. So the question is, do 5 members for the budget committee constitute a quorum? Walter, yes or no? Walter says yes, 5 members is a quorum. Walter says no. Walter, give us the legal number. Question, do 4 physical members and 1 telephone constitute a quorum of 5? Do we need 5 physical members and a telephone member of 6? Will that be a quorum? Those are the questions. We don't have answers.
I would rather not table this again. If
No, I know, I agree with you.
Because what
And
it
I-
is, once we do this, it's over.
And I
Okay.
think your modification basically, though, satisfies it from a perspective, or if we just say, a quorum shall consist of a majority of members physically present, as
Okay,
provided by
that's-
RSA 2115.
But does
At that
RSA
point-
2115 though define the appointed from selectmen, water, and school board.
It doesn't need to, that is
No, that- I'm
defined
just
by the
asking.
charter of the budget committee. So if they change the charter, who's a member of the budget committee is controlled by the town, not by,
All right, so RSA 2115 does not say you need to have somebody from the school board, the water.
no,
okay.
it just,
All right, so.
that RSA
Yeah.
defines what a quorum is.
Oh, all right.
I think if you look at chapter 32, which I don't have a copy of, I think that's part of it.
Okay, so we need
It
to
is
keep
part
in
of
the
it, come to think of
RSA
it.
21 then.
It's that when they have to establish a quorum, but what it is, it does tell you you do need a water district, school board, and a selectman. That's part of the board, and then you have whatever amount of at-large people you want. You can make it big, make it smaller.
Okay, well, let's finish this one paragraph.
What this can do is next year, this can be changed again. Each year, we have to look at it and make any changes.
Okay.
If this one gets passed tonight, it's going to take effect immediately.
Okay, so,
First, we scratched the numbers, and your motion was, Peg,
a quorum of
The budget committee should.
yeah, of the budget committee members shall be physically present.
okay, and the rest of it, I think it can stay in there. It should stay in there, because they are part of the committee. Anybody disagree? Any more discussion on it? Yes, Dave?
RSA 2115 actually is not valid in this. 2115 is, section 2115 is joint authority unless otherwise explicitly declared. Words purporting to give a joint authority to 3 or more public officers shall give authority to a majority of them. This isn't defining what our quorum is. This is also not defining whether or not Board of Selectmen, Water District, and School Board is on the, I
So
don't
that
see
needs
how
to be
it's even
deleted.
relevant, yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
so the final is a quorum of the budget committee members shall be physically present.
I think you gotta do is look at chapter 32 first, because it does say so, and I don't have it with me. What is,
All right, so
because,
does that mean we have to table this again?
no, we're not gonna table it, it's gonna be scratched. We're not tabling it again, I'm not gonna go through all this.
So what are we scratching? The RSA?
The RSA, he's correct, that it doesn't apply to us, and I don't know why that's there. That was before us. But I tell you, chapter 32, you will see that they do
3215.
Was it?
So if we want to put any RSA related to that, it should be 3215. That's the one that defines budget committee membership. Budget committee shall consist of 3 to 12 members at large, who may be elected or appointed, and it has all of the rest of it. No selectmen
No selectmen?
shall serve.
The only thing they cannot do is become the chair. They are a representative, but
Right.
the at-large members are the only ones who could become officers. And I said chapter 32, but because that's where I saw it, and I don't have chapter 32 with me.
Okay, but David just read it.
Okay, is that, which one is it, Dave?
The 3215?
That-
That's the one that defines budget committee membership.
All right, so we need to leave NRSA in there. So a quorum of budget committee members shall be physically present, and then in parentheses or whatever, RSA 32:15. End of discussion?
Since I don't have that physically on me, I'm depending on what Dave says.
Are
on
we
that.
leaving in including the appointed members from the
No.
Board of Selectmen?
No, that's
No.
because that's covered under 3215
Okay.
in terms of
Okay.
So we're
how the
taking
membership
all of
is
that out.
defined. 3215 defines how it's defined, how the membership is defined.
Yep.
But the thing is, we do need them, they're part of the number.
Right, but
Yeah.
that's defining it. 3215 is defining it. A quorum is how many members are on the board. So if we have 9 members on the board, including those 3 appointed people, then the quorum is 6. If there are only 7 members, then the actual quorum is 5. And we have less than that, then you can't have a meeting. We all get to go home.
Okay. Any more
You
discussion?
know all that?
I got it.
Yeah, any more discussion? Okay. Jerry, could you just repeat that motion, please?
Motion by Peg to reword the quorum section to say a quorum of the budget committee members shall be physically present per RSA 32:15, and was seconded by Tom.
All right. Any more discussion? Okay, I'm gonna call the vote.
Aye.
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 Larry? Oh, you
No.
can't vote. I'm so used to doing it.
Aye.
Aye.
Chair says aye.
Okay, good.
I know, it's pretty hard, but when
Okay, was that just for that one?
Yes.
that
Okay,
was just
so
a one.
I will make a motion to adopt the entire bylaws as finally read, amended, changed.
Second.
Let's say, we'll say amended, because I did make some
Okay.
changes in there,
All right.
and then David made some changes, so.
Okay,
You
so,
made the motion, where's the second? Tom, second.
Tom?
Okay, any more discussion on it? I'm gonna call the roll. I have to say that.
I know. Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
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 Yes, the chair says aye.
Yay.
So, we are now got the new,
What's the date today? The 10th.
well, it's a good thing we got a chance to look at it again. Now, I got one more thing, and that's the format of data and for school meeting minutes. I have to go by the old way. I don't know how Sean set it up. I tried it, it did not work well. So I'm gonna have to send them out directly. Nathan will send out the financial report for the schools, which I gotta add Mark's name on it. And yours now, Larry. I gotta get your email address. And the town, she'll no doubt send it to me, because it's easier for her to send it to me, and I send it to the committee. Any other correspondence, I'm going to be sending it straight out, and that, I don't BCC, because that's how I found out you didn't get one of the emails. Okay, I have to do it that way. I didn't get to the 21st century yet. Larry did, but I didn't. You know, and I was hoping Sean was still here, because I wanted to see how he did it, but he's not here, and I have to go this way only because once we get into the budgets, there's a lot of times that some information is going to come right through real quick. And
Well, it works, you know how to use it. Don't upset the apple cart right now when we're coming into budgets.
yeah, because after the season, somebody can show me how it's done. So this is how it's going to be. So the next meeting is Thursday, November 1st, will be the school district budget presentation, if it goes on schedule. If not, it will change it. Okay. I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Meeting is closed at 8:03. Thank you, everyone, for your patience.